What if I told you that there was a transportation technology that could save thousands of lives each year, protect the environment, and still let us order as much random stuff from Amazon Prime as we want? And what if I told you that that technology existed, that it was here now, and it could be used? Well, your first question would probably be, why isn't it being used? Why isn't it being utilized? And to that I would say, the gears of the American bureaucracy are grinding this innovation to a halt and stopping it from taking over. Now, this innovation is self-driving trucks. My name is Daniel Anderson, and for the past year, I've really been studying self-driving cars, self-driving trucks, and their potential benefits for society. So today, I want to take a little time to explain to you what exactly self-driving trucks are and what a future with them might look like, as well as some of the many benefits they will provide to society. So self-driving trucks are basically just semi-trucks, regular semi-trucks you see on the road, but they've been outfitted with special equipment like video cameras and radar and LiDAR sensors that allow them to accelerate and brake on their own, to stay within lanes, and to even exit and enter highways. There's a company called Auto, which was recently purchased by Uber, who is manufacturing these kits for about $30,000, so they're really not that expensive for like a large trucking company. So you could imagine a situation where a driverless truck is loaded up with cargo from a port in Long Beach, California, and then it drives all night with no one on board till it arrives in Dallas. Outside of Dallas, it pulls into a truck stop, a truck driver gets on, and navigates the vehicle through the complex urban environment, dropping off cargo, picking up new cargo, and then, like a tugboat sending a container ship out to sea, the driver would disembark at a truck stop on the other side of Dallas, and that truck could continue driving all night until it arrives here in Nashville. So while that may sound cool, why would anyone do it? What are the benefits? Well, the first major benefit of all self-driving vehicles, in particular self-driving trucks, is their safety. So Adrian LaFrance of The Atlantic in 2015 looked at the data that Google released from their self-driving car test and found that of the 2.1 million miles that Google's car had driven, it only got into 9 accidents. So to compare that with human drivers, Chris Taylor of Mashable in 2012 combined data from the Federal Highway Administration and from Allstate, the insurance company, and found that your average American driver gets into an accident about twice as often as Google's car did. So if you could replace all the truck drivers in America with robotic truck drivers that were even almost as good as Google's car, you would expect to halve the number of traffic fatalities. And according to the Insurance Institute of America, those fatalities numbered about 4,000 last year. So that would be 2,000 lives saved each year. The second major benefit of self-driving trucks is their environmental impact. So Siva Narla of the Institute of Transportation Engineers described how, because self-driving trucks can communicate with one another, they can drive way closer to one another than human-driven cars could, because they can brake and accelerate in unison. This allows them to basically tailgate and save a lot of fuel because of reduced drag and air resistance, as well as the fact that automated systems accelerate and decelerate at optimal speeds, which saves additional fuel. So these would be both good for these changes would be both good for the environment, good for CO2 emissions, as well as it would be a cost saving that could be passed on to us, the consumers. So the third benefit of self-driving trucks is that they solve a problem that we actually already have, and that is a truck driver shortage. So according to Rob Whelan of the Wall Street Journal in 2015, we are running out of truck drivers because the current pool of drivers is aging and they're retiring, and no young people are stepping up to take these jobs. So if trucks are essential to the economy, and they are, and if no one wants to do this job, it seems like a prime candidate for automation. So what do we do to bring these benefits to the people? Well, the first thing we need to do is establish a comprehensive comparison of the different levels of self-driving vehicles. So to give an example of this, I'm from San Francisco originally, and I was flying home for Christmas break, and I was reading an article on the plane about how Uber was going to bring self-driving Ubers to San Francisco. And obviously I'm kind of a nerd about this stuff, so I was excited. I was like, maybe I'm going to get one at the airport, maybe I'm going to get one when I land. I was really jazzed. So I land, I open up my phone, and I see a notification from Mike Isaac of the New York Times saying that the California DMV has deemed these cars illegal. I was like, that's weird. Uber's a billion-dollar company. How are they making these little regulatory mistakes? Well, they didn't make a mistake. You see, Uber thought that their vehicles were semi-automated vehicles and filed for semi-automated vehicle registration. But the state of California thought they were fully automated and thus demanded fully automated vehicle registration. The problem is, there's no concrete rules for what those two words mean. There's no legal definitions, so it was just sort of a value judgment on the part of the company and the government. So I recommend that we institute federal sort of benchmarks for what different levels of automation mean, so that both consumers and businesses and governments have the same information and can make informed choices. The second thing we need to do is adapt regulations for a driverless future. So this means addressing two things, both the operation of vehicles and the creation of vehicles. So right now, laws require a driver to be in the driver's seat of any vehicle that is moving. They also require things like steering wheels and brake pedals that humans need to operate trucks, but automated systems don't need a steering wheel, they can just turn the wheels. These changes need to be made at the federal level because you can't have states deciding these things on their own, because long-haul trucking goes across tens of states at a time, and so you can't have a vehicle that is illegal in California, then legal in Nevada, and then illegal again in Utah. It just wouldn't make any sense. It would be totally unviable. The good news is that people are already working towards this goal. Melanie Zamona of The Hill in 2017 reported that there's already a bipartisan bill in the works to sort of pass some of these regulations and open up the road, for lack of a better term, for self-driving trucks. And so this is headed by John Thune, a Republican from South Dakota, as well as Gary Peters, a Democrat from Michigan. So this is really good news for self-driving trucks, because anytime you can get bipartisan support on a bill, especially in today's political climate, it generally bodes well. So if Congress were to pass comprehensive regulation on new self-driving truck technology, would it stand up? Would it be constitutional? The answer is yes. The Supreme Court has frequently upheld that Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce, and this is as cut and dry a case as you'll ever find. So most famously in U.S. v. Lopez, Chief Justice Rehnquist outlined various arenas that Congress could intervene and regulate interstate commerce. The first is a channel of interstate commerce. And trucking is the channel in America for commerce in between states. So in conclusion, today I've outlined what driverless trucks are, as well as their many benefits, while exploring what our government needs to do to bring these benefits to the American people. By following these steps, they can help make a driverless future a driverless present, and help save lives and protect the environment in the process. Thank you.